Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you have an amazing day. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. We're taking, of course, another look here at Bitcoin to see what's going on. And, really just want to find out what's going to happen next. That's truly the ultimate reason for this is to, kind of increase or decrease the odds of whichever direction we think it's going to head, right? So in that sense, I'm not a financial advisor. I do love teaching people to trade. Really hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So if you'd like that for yourself, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below. I provide you with a trading academy, signal group, as well as an amazing community where we all learn and grow together. Awesome experience here recently. We've got a lot of new members coming too as well recently. Of course, not just because the fear, uncertainty, and doubt is a lot higher, or more so rather lower. It's not as bad as it was before. But more importantly, because everyone's trying to learn to become better on their own in a bearish type of environment, right? And we are retesting this bearish type of trend, and we'll go ahead and talk about that here today as well. But generally speaking, once again, their website is CryptoCache.tech if you'd like to check that out. Okay. I also have discounts for military and third world countries. Feel free to message me direct. Just make sure you use the contact information down below. I'll never direct message or solicit you. All right. So here's where we're at with Bitcoin. It's obviously increasing, and we have this point in which we're going to be testing the 50-day set moving average here very soon. Okay. So let's make this a little bit bigger for you. Kind of see what's going on. So first of all, the 50-day set moving average is notoriously a strong support and or resistance level. It's always worked very, very consistent with trend lines. And if we were to take a look at this trend here, you can see this downtrend ever since March of 29th of 2022, where we breached 48,000. The price has come down ever since. And that straight line that you see here drawn is essentially just kind of reiterating the fact that the 50-day set moving average is moving downwards with the price action. Therefore, we have a pretty important, I wouldn't say maybe a day here today. It would probably be, we have a really important week, because obviously this will probably test and get rejected first, or perhaps break through and then potentially reject later. We need full-on confirmation. And to me, a week's worth of trading data would suffice. So what I'm referring to isn't necessarily a weekly candlestick. I'm talking about 7 daily candlesticks above that level would give me the confirmation that we're back up above that. And once we're up above that, we are essentially no longer considered to be bearish, at least in the general sense of things, at least this downtrend, right? So again, this 3-month downtrend should be coming to an end soon here. And that is something to acknowledge here, just looking at the 50-day set moving average. Okay, so again, we're right here at that level. Today's doji candle isn't great, but it is kind of telling us there's a lot of resistance at 23,000, and we may have difficulty passing that plane. Again, 23,000 is concurrent with the 50-day set moving average, so a lot of things are kind of coming to a head here. I would kind of recommend waiting for confirmation, because we truly don't know if we're going to break that level. Once we do break that level, again, we have a few days worth of confirmation, preferably a week's worth of validation, then we can move forward and kind of, feel more comfortable about a long position. Right now, we're kind of on a razor's edge, and to me, no position is probably the best position. Again, just saying it out loud there, it's just exactly how it works. In a lot of ways, I prefer to wait for confirmation, like we had yesterday with that, strong reversal there that was corrected pretty quickly. While we didn't fulfill a cup and handle pattern like I was expecting, the price did wick all the way down to our second profit target, and we took some good profits yesterday. So again, not bad. There's nothing wrong with the situation that we're in right now. It's okay that we didn't get that cup and handle. It could actually still very much happen. We'll take a look at that in smaller time frames. But for the moment, we're testing this key level resistance type of area, and until we can soundly close above 23,000, I'm not convinced we're going to break it. Just kind of throwing it out there again. Just some thoughts there. The great thing here, and here's the cool thing, and this actually could be the reason why we might see this happen, is because if we take a look at the relative strength index, we've been under 50 since April of this year. So that's about 3.5 months, almost the same amount of time that we've had this downtrend of being under 50 on the RSI. So with us being over 50 on the RSI, that's relative strength index is telling us that we have a lot more strength in the relative recent past, the last 14 trading days, and essentially telling us that we have a pretty decent push in the right direction. We're more so bullish. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that we are definitely bullish on this trend here, but we do have to also recognize that we're coming up to a point where we're getting moderately exhausted in this run. Okay. Now, when I say moderately exhausted, it's nothing crazy. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6 trading days have been green. Okay. So oftentimes you do see a correction happen at specific key level resistances, and we could very well see the price action come back down to potentially retest 21,200 or possibly even a little bit lower. But the key here is that we're making higher lows, and it's really important to recognize that. So again, there's mostly positive here on the daily. Not trying to concern you with the fact that we might face some rejection here soon, but we might also see a strong push through 23,000 as well with a short squeeze if there's a lot of shorts that are going to get liquidated just above. Because that being a key level resistance, it's definitely going to be one of those things that we got to pay attention to. Okay, so again, just kind of throwing it out there. Of course, I would say we're kind of, again, we don't have a definitive direction at this point. It doesn't feel like it's going to go either way. So in a lot of cases, you probably just want to kind of rest and relax until it decides it wants to do what it wants to do. I don't know. Me personally, being a patient trader, I have no problem sitting on the sidelines while this kind of stuff is happening. Fear of missing out is something you really got to work on to make sure you don't have that feeling that you of regret of not getting in too soon or too late or whatever. Patience is key, right? So just give it some time. We'll be all good. But taking a look here at the 4 hour, here's kind of where we're at. So simply put, we've got this ascending type of trend that's running concurrent with the 20-day step moving average. Also a very consistent indicator, kind of letting us know that, hey, we're still in an uptrend. This hasn't discontinued itself yet, and we should probably expect it to continue. Okay, so again, this trend here essentially is the friend, and we can expect the price to go sideways and up from here based on that sentiment. Again, that's not the reason to take a trade, but generally speaking, it does look like the price wants to continue higher. Okay. Furthermore, we got the relative strength index over 50 and under 70 comfortably on the 4 hour here. And when I reviewed this yesterday, I think I was talking about, RSI hitting 70 on the 4 hour is never really a great thing, and it came back down. That's why we opened a short position and took some decent profit, because the simple fact that the price was overextended. Okay, so again, that is something that you can play on. But right now, we're kind of in this in-between where we're not overextended or underextended. So it's kind of a mystery as far as how much further the price will go, either up or down. To me, that's not confirmation. I wait for confirmation, and personally, I would wait for the RSI to be overextended to one side or the other, to either get rejected off of 50 or to come back down, to get rejected off of 70 and or come back down to 50 and find a bounce. It's different things you can kind of consider, but RSI on the 4 hour is a very telling indicator. It really helps us understand that. Same thing with the MACD as well. Even though this isn't really a definitive direction teller here, it tells that we basically had a convergence on the MACD, even though those lines didn't cross. We had this strong push upward. So, again, the MACD isn't as impactful as the RSI in my personal opinion. I think the relative strength index is something we need to kind of make sure to factor in, because you can determine standard deviations and different things of that nature with just the one indicator alone. So I would say that the RSI in the 4 hours is really going to help us understand a lot, and we're not on either side of the spectrum there. We're kind of like right at 60 in between 50 and 70. All right, so again, those are things I try to look for on the 4 hour. Let's do one last thing. I think we got a reset here on TD sequential, which we did. So in truth, we don't have any type of overexhaustion to whichever direction on the 4 hour. The hourly might tell us a different story though. I'm curious about this. So we went up to a 9, of course, got rejected. That's why we took the position that we took. Price comes up, got rejected by RSI at 70. On the 4 hour, came back down. Okay, so again, all good stuff there in that sense. But if we take a look at, let me pull this up real quick, make it a little clearer for us. Yeah, so again, we hit a 9, we came up, came back down, got to a 7, got a reset, had this really weird spike up to 23,000 almost. It came back down to a 5, and now we're up to a 6. So again, there's not a lot of consistency in this here. I don't love to see this. This is very choppy, not the kind of trading that I like to engage in. The reason why we took a trade back here is because it was overextended, having gone up for full 9 hours, and effectively kind of told us, hey, we're way too high on a specific small handful of things. We had an overextension here plus the 4 hour. RSI being at 70, so those things kind of factored into taking a trade. Right now, when you see the price action just jumping up and down right now sporadically like this, I personally like to sit on the sidelines and wait it out. But again, different strokes for different folks. But we're at a 6 right now, and the truth here is that we could very well see the price action continue for another 3 more hours to retest 23,000. There's a possibility of that. I don't think we're going to break it just yet. I think we need to spend more time at this area and get a stronger volume profile at a higher price point. But again, we're building a decent foundation of volume right around 22,200. It seems to be somewhat of a volume support and resistance just in general in the most recent 24 to 48 hours. So again, all those things considered here, it does look like we're getting closer to an overextension on the hourly. We might see a slight turnaround here soon. It would be a little extreme for the price action to shoot through 23,000 right now, but stranger things have happened, right? We can totally expect that. I would say expect the worst and hope for the best. And honestly, the worst case scenario is that we break through 23,000 and get rejected by the 50-day simple moving average on the daily. There's a handful of different things that we can think about. But truth is, we don't have confirmation we've broken this bearish trend yet, okay? We also don't have confirmation we've broken through 23,000 and or even 24,000, which are two key level resistances. So to me, at this point, I'm not saying that a short position is more viable. I just don't think a long position would be recommended at this exact time, just based on the simple fact that it does look like we might be coming to a slight head here soon. In other words, on the shorter time frames, that's where we're at. But truth is here, we do have some pretty decent things going on here for the cloud. For lack of better terms, we're above the cloud. Obviously, we see the price action come down and it didn't really bounce, but it didn't need to. It kind of stayed above. And furthermore, we have confirmation here that the conversion line's above the baseline. That tells us we have enough momentum for the price action to probably continue higher for a little bit longer. Furthermore, we've also got the lagging span that isn't intersected with price action. It kind of just broke above, but it's still soon to intersect. So again, that really tells us a lot in the sense that we shouldn't expect the price action to dramatically explode to the upside. You should have taken probably some profits by now if you were to have a long position open, and that there's a potential for a turnaround here for Bitcoin. Again, when I say turnaround, it could be something as ugly as we've seen here previously, where it just comes right back down to test another level. But the truth here, and this is a good thing here, keep this in mind, very positive, we are still making higher lows. Okay, so until we make lower lows, we can expect this higher low trend to continue. All right. So as long as we continue to make these higher lows, it's all good. We could actually work ourselves into a wedge type of pattern where we see the ascending breakout. There's a lot of different schools of thought here, but for the most part, we're getting slightly overextended. We still haven't, broken through that key level resistance. And I would say that at this point, you're better off not taking a position and waiting for Bitcoin to make up its mind. And I'm not telling you that as soon as we break through that key level resistance of 50 on the 50-day set moving average on the daily, that you just jump right in. Not at all. That's in fact the worst thing you can do, because you don't have full-on confirmation. You want to wait for confirmation. That takes patience. So please try to train yourself to sit on the sidelines sometimes and be okay with missing some of the action. It's all right. You'll get your wins if you're strategic about it. But at this point, we don't see any overextensions. There's nothing really that's is alarming to me in either direction, and I don't really like to take a position when I don't know which way it's going to go. So again, take that how you will, but truth is, big picture, macro is still bearish until we break that plane and we're proven otherwise. And on the short term, even though we have a lot of bullish indicators, we're becoming slightly overextended. Okay, so again, slightly overextended. By this time tomorrow, we'll probably be full on overextended if it were to continue in that direction. I hope it works out for you either way favorably. Nonetheless, thank you so much for joining me here. Hopefully this made sense and I described this correctly. If so, comment below. Appreciate your feedback. And obviously, if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I look forward to work with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you.